And I'm going to say this about homeless people. I saw a video the other day, and everybody knows I'm anti-homeless person to the core because I live in West Texas, right? I live in a town where there's a lot of oil money to be made. I work 2, 3 in the morning. I go work 13 to 14 hours. Lately, it's been 14 hours straight for 5 days straight, risking my life to provide for my family. So you're not going to get much compassion from an oil field worker such as myself for a grown, able-bodied, hairy-ass, stanky-ass man on the corner in Midland, Texas, begging for money to go buy a drink. The Bible is very clear that actually the Bible is actually more abrasive about people that don't want to work. It says you are worse than an infidel if you don't provide for your family. I say that to say this. I'm anti-homeless, straight up. Nothing. You ain't getting nothing from me but a harsh rebuke. Go get a job, you filthy bum. That's what I'll tell them. But the point is, I don't know if you know this, but I've been watching some kind of content touching on this here and there, saying that the homeless situation in America is way far different than other countries. This is probably very shocking to a lot of y'all, but some of y'all, I don't know if Jesus is still in here. He knows he's in California, bum capital of the world, of the United States. But the point is, no offense to Cali, my Patriots, but the point is this. When you really look at who's poor across the globe, and whenever you look at what a homeless person is in the United States of America, they're not homeless because they're really, really poor. They probably shouldn't be even categorized that, but they are, right? Homeless. But the people that are homeless, that are out in the street corners begging, they're not really that poor. What they are is addicts. What they are is lazy. And maybe some have some mental issues. I'll be honest, right? Shout out my vets that are out there. You know, we're here to help them. But the mass majority of the homeless people in the United States of America really don't got to be homeless and really don't have a problem getting food. Some even have phones. Many have phones and they have Cash Apps and Venmo. And they will cuss you out if you try to give them food. They want money for their addictions. But back to what I was saying, I saw this video and it was pointing out a very interesting fact. That when you look at the homeless people in America compared to the people that are really poor outside the United States of America, the homeless people here are basically living the high life. They're not really poor. They're just lazy, derelict bums that stink up the joint. They're dangerous criminals also to a certain degree. And you never want to give them any money or even food. Police will tell you never give a homeless person any money or food. You're enabling them. And you can get mad all you want. I don't give a flip. I passed by where they got this homeless bum. They're trying to give this guy money and to raise money for he can get a hotel room and get an apartment and all this. It never happened because he didn't want that. He likes to sit in the corner, draw his pictures, and just panhandle all day. And then I passed by yesterday where he was at. Me and my wife went and got something to eat. And I said, damn, look, he leaves his trash right here. He got his little water bottles, all his little trash. He leaves it right there in the corner. So that's what the homeless people are in America, y'all. They're just addicts. They're lazy. They don't want to work. They're not really poor. If anything, they are poor by choice. They choose the addictions. They choose to live like that with no laws, no regulations. They just walk around wherever they want, drinking, smoking, and getting free money. They're not really poor like you think they are. They're actually a problem in the United States of America, in my opinion, straight up. And you can get mad and say I'm a mean Christian. I know what the Bible says. Go look in the book of Proverbs. Go look at whenever the lame leper, the lame man tried to get money from the apostles. They looked at him and they kept going to the temple. He had to tell them, hey, help me, heal me. They looked at the guy on the ground that was lame and they walked past him and go to the temple. I forgot which apostles it was. They weren't sitting there, oh, can I help you? Can I give you some money, some food? Hell no, they're going to the temple to go handle kingdom business. Then he told them, hey, I need help. And then they looked to help him. Paul said if a man doesn't work, he shouldn't eat. But think about it. You got these 501c3 entities, these nonprofit corporations, like these food kitchens that are sitting here, and that's how they make their money. This is basically like socialism 101. They're in bed with the government, just like many churches. So I don't really go to church no more. If your church is a 501c3 entity, I don't want nothing to do with it because they're in bed with the government beast system. But these 501c3 nonprofit entities and corporations, like a food kitchen, they get these grants, they get money, they get tax exemptions to feed these people. It's all like a cycle of this, y'all. Once you start uncovering how the 501c3 entities work, then you start realizing it's all a racket. It's all a racket. From the churches to the nonprofits, trust me, they're for profit. I don't want to say too much, but I've seen some vehicles of some people that are nonprofit, and I said, damn, they got nicer vehicles than me, and they're nonprofit. Once you start looking into the nonprofits, just do a 1 day hour study on a nonprofit. And you're going to see how freaking corrupt they are. That's why when Doge was taking the money away from the nonprofits in certain, I forgot, San Antonio, wherever, a lot of people were saying good. They were just a sham. And I'll even say this too. It's hogwash. A nonprofit 501c3 entity, especially someone that gives out free food and all that, is trash. They're enabling these people to continue being lazy, being addicted, not taking responsibility for their actions, and they're getting government assistance or tax breaks, write-offs, and they're getting rich. You ain't got to believe me. Don't believe me. Go prove me wrong. And like I said, homeless people are really not even poor compared to people that are really poor, in the world. They live in bad conditions. Homeless people in the United States of America actually have it made. They get fed, they get money, they have phones, they get to do their substances, they get to neglect their families, their responsibilities, their duties, while my ass is an 18-wheeler for 14 hours. You want me to feel bad for the guy standing on the corner drinking a 40, painting sorry-ass pictures, and you donate for him to get a hotel? You think I'm going to feel bad for that guy? Because he made the wrong decision in life? He chose to leave his family? He chose to put that bottle and that needle before his own kids and wife? You want me to feel bad for that? Hell no. I got to get up at 3 a.m. My wife's making my coffee, making my lunch. I feel bad for my wife. But you want me to feel bad for the bum on the corner that's begging for a fix. And then the 501c3 entity corporation, look up that word, corporation, that 501c3 nonprofit, for-profit corporation, they're getting money, they're driving nice cars, and then they're feeding the bums. Oh, but Nino America's a mean Christian. He's mean for pointing out the obvious. You're not going to play me. Simple and plain. I might have been born at night. I wasn't born last night. Shout out those that have the courage to say what I'm saying to many people. It's easy to be a nice Christian and go take a picture and a photo, a video. I'm giving a bum, I'm giving him a blanket, I'm giving him a hot dog and all this. Yeah, whatever. Tell the truth. How about that? Tell the truth and see how they treat you. I remember one time when we first became Christians, we were at the park doing ministry work, outreach, microphone, telling testimonies, cooking barbecue, hot dogs. My buddies went and gave a plate, a bunch of hot dogs and hamburgers we cooked to the bums right down the corner. And you know what? My buddies came back with the plates and they said, man, them guys were there making steaks. They didn't want the hamburgers. The bums were out there making steaks. And the Christians brought back the hamburgers and hot dogs. I guess it wasn't good enough for the bums. They're already making steaks. Yeah, Jesus is in here, right here. He already knows. Jesus is in California. He's in probably a real liberal area, a bunch of gangs everywhere, and he knows. We follow each other on IG. I think maybe in Facebook, but Jesus knows. So I ain't gonna feel bad for nobody. I feel bad for myself. I feel bad for my wife. I look out for my kids. Not some grown ogre that ain't taking a bath in 20 days. Or you never know, probably done took a bath. They get these free rides and free everything nowadays. I ain't feeling bad for nobody like that. Someone, like I said, that don't take care of their responsibilities. I feel bad for the victims. I feel bad for the victims of the bums. I feel bad for the families, the wives, the kids, the husbands, whoever, that have been neglected, put aside for the bums to be living irresponsibly. I feel bad for the people that bums have burnt. They burnt families and friends and churches and all kinds of people to be addicted in the streets. I feel bad for those people that the bums burnt. I feel bad for the victims of the bums. I don't feel bad for the bums. Oh, go say that though. Go make a post on Facebook. See what happens to you. It happened to me. I don't give a flip though. Go say what I'm saying on Facebook and see what happens to you. They're gonna call you every name in the book. Oh, you're not a nice Christian because you don't want to give the bums no money. You're calling them bums. What are they? Yep, I agree. We're the richest country on the planet. There is absolutely no reason anyone should be homeless. Exactly. Go bust tables, go cut lawns. If not, you're contributing to the American dream. You should get out. If you're not, contributing to the American dream, you should get out. Exactly. Like I said, homeless people in America are not what you think they are. They're not poor. They got plenty of food. Some of them are very obese. They can miss a meal or two. They just don't want to work. Oh, trust me, I don't want to work either. I don't want to work either, but I have to. And that's what real men do.